Well, speaking of cooperative ministry, I was told that you and Pastor Paul Atwater of Pembroke engaged together in a very interesting project a few years ago, which I would like to hear more about. I understand you brought together a suburban church and an urban church for the purpose of serving the larger community. I was wondering if you could just tell us a little bit about that experience.
Well, this has to do with Vision New England.
Mm-hmm.
As you know, I've been a part of Vision New England for 25 or probably 30 years. Two of your presidents were my students at Gordon Conwell, Reverend Steve Macchia and Reverend David Midwood.
Oh, wow.
They were both my students there. And so because they were the president of Vision New England, I felt that I had a responsibility to support them. So for a number of years, I was a member of the Congress Committee.
Mm.
And on the Congress Committee was Paul Atwater from Pembroke with North River Community Church. Paul and myself were going through a transition to the purpose-driven church model.
Mm-hmm.
And we had both done the 40 Days of Purpose, and he had done the 40 Days of Community. And so as we began to share our experiences, realized that we had much in common. And at lunch, we were just talking about things in general. And I shared with him what I planned to do because it was our 200th anniversary year. And I felt that because People's Baptist Church, or the First African Baptist Church, had been the organizers of the first school for black children, that we'd go back to our roots and pick up the education piece again.
Okay.
Well, I told Paul that I wanted to adopt a school to do as much as we could in order to ensure that the students would be well educated and achieve excellence. Well, Paul said to me, could I join you in this? And I said, by all means. So rather than us adopting one school, we adopted two schools. The Henry Higginson Elementary School in Roxbury and the Mattahunt Elementary School in Mattapan. And we worked with those two churches and did a great deal of work. The two churches came together. We got together on a Saturday to clean up the church, the school buildings,
okay.
Both inside and outside, and to paint murals.
Really?
So there are large murals that the two churches with the artists that we have, did for the kids. We were able to give about 4,000 books to both schools for their libraries as well as for students to take home a copy. And we were able to produce an 8-minute video, which was shown at Vision New England's conference at the Heinz Convention Center in 2006, I believe it was. That was the first thing we did. Well, we were always trying to find other ways of cooperating again together, because the key to this kind of urban-suburban partnership has to do with the pastors being friends.
Yes.
Unless the pastors have a relationship and trust one another, and we are in the same place theologically, then it's very difficult.
Okay.
So in 2011, we decided that we would go back into the education business. So we selected a middle school this time rather than elementary school.
Okay.
We selected the Timothy Middle School with 750 students, and decided that in order to be able to evaluate what was going on, we needed to take one grade each year. So the first year we selected the 6th grade, and then we followed them into the 7th grade, where we are now. Next year we'll go to the 8th grade. The whole point is that we'll be able to work with the same students and their parents to achieve what we call excellence in education. the principal as well as the school department responded very positively to us. We had the superintendent on board when we kicked off the program at my church. We had the mayor, the superintendent, and the principal, as well as some teachers and others there to speak about how much this would benefit the children. And we've done a number of things. We have given them books when you're dealing with 250 students, and each one will have a book at Christmas time to take home with them for reading. We have given some 28 refurnished laptop computers, and we are involved in tutoring and in mentoring, and even programs such as a career day that we had for those 7th grade students to let them know that they can achieve what others have achieved. So we had about some 30-odd professional people from our congregations go in and speak with the students to let them know that, well, at least to share with them how we got to be where we are, so that they will know that they can also do the same thing.
Honestly, Dr. Roberts, that's just remarkable. That is very, very inspiring. And but there's some themes here that seem to carry through constantly. One is the importance of the relationships, again, the one-on-one relationship among the leaders, and then this investment in the larger community, which is just so wonderful. So you've been a champion of cooperative endeavor among churches, I would guess, for your entire ministerial life. Yeah?
It's certainly because no one church can do what needs to be done. So unless you can cooperate with others to do the work in the community, then you will not be successful. But the new thing which I was able to add to that, because we have the ministerial alliance already with all these pastors, was the urban-suburban piece and the white-black
Yes.
piece. So we are dealing with an interracial situation which some people are not able to handle the way that Paul and I have been able to do this.
Well, on this then, the question that occurs to me is, are you seeing this catch on? Are you seeing more involvement of this type in cooperation today than you have in the past? Are you encouraged that the spirit of this is kind of catching on?
It's catching on, but slowly.
Yeah.
There are some urban-suburban partnerships taking place. The thing about what I'm doing and what, let's say, Bruce Wall is doing with the Grace Chapel is that we regard ourselves as evangelicals, and we believe that we have a message and a work to do in the community, that we should not only be just talking about our faith, but we should be doing something.
Yes, yes.
And this is taking place. We are trying to get some other ministers to be involved, but one of the disappointing things for me is that I'm at most of the evangelical gatherings, in New England, and when I go there, there may be either I'm alone as a black person, or Reverend Bruce Wall is there. That's the two of us.
Yeah. And
we're not able to get the racial mix that would be helpful in advancing our faith. The black community, is a strong religious community, and there is much that community can offer to the suburban community as well as vice versa. So unless we are able to break down some of these walls and show that it is possible for blacks and whites to work together. We have a common theology. Whereas there's some differences,
certainly,
but
distinctives.
But evangelicalism has not always been on the side of the poor people or black people.
No, right.
So
True.
we have to try to overcome that and to show people that we are genuinely interested in building relationships, which hopefully will continue.